What's up? What's up? What's up, comic fam? How are y'all doing? It's Shelby and Gorilla Todd here on a Thursday. Comic wrap. We're running a little bit late. Todd's already dropped. Oh my god.
Kicked me out. I'm back.
You're back. There you go. All right. And I got a crazy cat running around over here, knocking stuff off. Man, let's cruise to the house. Sorry, I just woke up from a nap.
What was that?
Tony N. Y. Jr. Oh my God, I have not seen you in forever, my friend.
What's up,
How are
Tony?
you doing?
Tony, we still got to get together, my friend.
Yeah, Todd's got to get his mic working a little bit better because I know I'm louder.
I don't have my mic.
Todd's trying to get the stream going over on his Chan too. Oh, my friends, how are y'all doing, man? Today, let me say this. Good to see you too. All right, let me see. So, hi from New Mexico. They're live. Ha 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 ha. And good to see you both. Yep, I've missed you, Tony. I hadn't seen you in forever. I know I haven't been on the auctions or doing anything grandiose or anything like that. I apologize. I got to go. Oh, I should have made a cup of coffee, but I didn't.
You bought a monster.
Huh?
You bought a monster.
I did. I'll show you my monster here in a minute.
That sounds funny in my head.
I'm in for it to be funny. Lake Como.
Okay, Tony, sounds good. Lake Como.
Como. I've heard of it.
Sounds like a plan, Tony.
Is
No rush. I know you're good. I know you're good.
Like they had bodies or something there. I don't know.
I'm gonna go grab this box of slabs and put it on the table.
All right. So one thing today, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes started today.
Oh, did it?
It did. I was going to go, but oh, excuse me again. Yawns. Oh, an art show.
Well, I'm kidding you not. This is like the collection you dream of.
All right, so Todd's got a collection he's going to show that he bought. He's been super happy. He's been bragging to me about it all week. We'll get to it. We're going to do a little bit of comic news first. So, comic news, like I said, probably the big thing is I know I was going to fall asleep during the movie, so I was going to go today. And I just started a new client yesterday. And so, like anytime you start with a new client, they got a bunch of training for you to do. So this morning I was stuck in training for about 4 hours. Oh, that was super boring about data protection and all this stuff. So yes, Todd, we'll see your books in a minute. We're doing comic news first.
I'm showing Tony. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Oh my God. It's like a kid.
Yeah, I'm a little
Hi. So, he said he loves the store.
Thanks, Tony. We gotta get you out to Vegas, Tony. You too, Shelby.
So anyway, so I was gonna go to the movie. They had a 3:30 showing, I believe. Well, I was gonna go to, but I was just so sleepy and tired from the training I did, so I'm gonna have to go this weekend. It's gotten some great reviews. People are really bragging about it. It's about almost 2.5 hours long, so that's a great length for me. That means you're going to have a lot of great story, a lot of great action. So I'm really excited to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes starting this weekend. Let's see. There was Raider.
How you doing, my friend?
What's up?
Haven't seen you in a minute. Mostly because I haven't been too active on YouTube, but you know, Shelby and I have been doing this for this is our third or fourth Thursday.
This is our fourth show. Yeah, this is the third, I think the third week in a row. So we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Todd's mic to me is still just a little bit low, and I know I talk a little bit loud.
I can go get my mic out of the other room, my big mic, if you need me to. If you think, can you guys hear me? I have another mic I can grab. This mic is through the camera. If I lean in, it's probably good. But if I'm back
that's
here,
a little bit better. Yeah, you're leaning back.
Yeah. So I could just staying close.
Tony says he hears you. Krista says you sound fine. Sleepy Reader says, I lost track of you on YouTube. I see you plenty on Instagram. We'll make those announcements and stuff. You can always find Todd over on Instagram. He shows off his store. He shows off new comics that he gets in. If y'all ever need anything, you can always reach out to Todd. He's got a nice store there, and not really a store. He's got a nice little office space that you can come visit. Todd's comic cave.
It's my comic book secret hideout.
Comic book secret hideout.
I affectionately refer to as GT's Clubhouse.
Todd's Clubhouse, that's it. Yeah, so let me say this, though. I mean, Todd's doing it right, is that overhead with storefronts and all that is too crazy. Todd's doing it right. He's in like an industrial park in an office space. Most of your sales or good sales to me are going to be online anyway. I mean, so your storefronts is for your local people. Todd did go to a show this past weekend, I think, too, and we'll talk about that.
I didn't go to this weekend. No, it was free comic book day.
Show
next week. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'm in Pasadena for a show.
Oh, all right.
So that's my one show in May. And then in June, I have 3 shows. I have a show called Near Mint Sundays in Anaheim on the 8th. And then I have in Phoenix Front Row Card Show the next weekend. And then I'm back in California for Comics and Cocktails. I think that one's in Canoga Park. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's one that's been gaining a little bit of traction over for a while now. All right, my last.
You're gonna have Jerry Conway at the next one.
Yep. Oh, really? Yeah, I've never met him. My last little bit of comic news. So I want to talk about the Planet of the Apes. Then next month I think is Deadpool. So let's see. I subscribe. Excuse me. To I subscribe to this Intelligent Collector. I think it's done through Heritage, but this just dropped this week. Is the long lost model of U.S. Enterprise was returned to the Roddenberry family on April 13th. So I'll show you some more pictures of this, but this is the famous model that was done in the opening credits and the first episode pilot, which was The Cage, which did not have Shatner in it and stuff.
Captain Pike.
And this was loaned to Paramount by Gene Roddenberry in the mid 70s when they were planning on doing Star Trek Phase 2, which ended up becoming Star Trek the Motion Picture after the popularity of Star Wars. And then it was lost. It was found on an eBay auction last December. Opening bid of $1,000 by a person in Anaheim, California, if I'm not mistaken. No, Van Nuys, California.
Yeah, that's right, close by.
Yeah. And some people saw it in the Star Trek community, reached out to Rod Roddenberry, Gene's son, and they immediately contacted the seller and they pulled the posting. There's no details of how he came to find the model or anything. Here's the famous picture of the model on Gene Roddenberry's desk. And Gene Roddenberry's son, is just completely ecstatic, of course, and says he has fond memories of this being on his dad's desk and such. But it was turned over to Heritage Auction for authentication, and it was finally authenticated and returned to the Roddenberry family about a week ago, and shows this picture of excuse me, Joe Mantelina from Heritage Auction, returning the model to Rod Roddenberry after 5 decades. So I thought this was a great story. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Looks like this has suffered a lot of damage. If we look at some of the decals and stuff, and then if you look at the before picture where it was on Gene's desk, it was in perfect condition. And so it suffered a lot of damage. I know there's a
What's up, Southern Comic Geek?
Hey, Jason, Southern Comic Geek. What's up? What's up? What's up? So, I was really happy. I mean, you don't hear about things like this. You hear about things getting lost and never seen. And I think about like the time machine from the classic movie, being lost and ended up being found at a roadside attraction, just completely torn apart. A few things being saved from the garbage and things like that. But so much of this great history has been lost, and you can just see how much damage it's taken on. Water damage over the years, they said.
It's a lot of time, but the idea that was actually found and returned to the family is really, you're right on. It's a great story because like you almost would expect that it's just lost to the annals of time, and it's just not going to be found again. It's probably ended up in somebody's, somebody coveted it. That's why it got lost. But then who knows? Who knows what happened to it over the years?
Well, I did read up as much as I could, and they said that it was put in a art production studio whenever it was borrowed from Gene for them to make. Yeah, I know it'd still be sitting on my shelf too. For them to make measurements of and things like that. And firsthand information of a person that worked around the facility at that time said the door was unlocked. People could just walk in. They probably never even really knew what they were looking at or what was there. And then eventually once they moved on to doing Star Trek the Motion Picture instead of Star Trek Phase 2, it just ended up getting lost, whatever that means. But these are some early production, promo pictures showing Shatner and Kirk with the model. Now, the one that's in the Smithsonian is the 8-foot model. This is the 3-foot model. The one in the Smithsonian is the one that was used from episode 1 with Kirk and throughout. the series. That's the one that's in the Smithsonian. Like I said, this was the one that sat on Gene's desk. It was done for the opening credits and then the pilot. So yeah, really great. Here's some early
What's up,
production.
Mr. Taz Jr.? Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's been forever.
And again, you can see some of the damage that it suffered over the years. There's actually a crack that's in that is because this is made out of wood.
It's a hull breach.
It's a hull breach. So this is broken off. You can see the bottom is missing.
I could definitely stand for some restoration.
It can. I think it can be restored, and these pieces can be made. One of the ways they authenticated it was here's one of the early productions. You can see the crack or the missing piece, and then it's the same
little chip
there. But yeah, really great story to me is, like I said, this was returned to the Roddenberry family. And, I'm not a huge Heritage fan, but I do like this little digital magazine they do every month, the Intelligent Collector. It's got some good stories and stuff in it. But yeah, really great. So that is it for me with comic news.
Well, I got some comic books.
All right. So anyway, Todd bought a collection this past week. He's been super excited about it.
I mean, I'm a lot more active now at shows I'm setting up at cons and shows locally in Vegas. I make the trip a couple times a year to California. I make the trip out to Phoenix. I like getting into the other markets to see some other books because you see, you get to know all the dealers in your area. But this was a collection that kind of fell into my lap. I got a call and made an appointment to meet somebody here at the office, and they came in and we hammered out a deal. So I'll show you first a stack of raw books and just some nice, always nice things to pick up. And this is one of the
I love those negative space ones.
Yeah,
I try to pick them up whenever I see them. That's one I don't have in my collection.
This might be one of the early ones, if I'm not mistaken. The other one I know is in the box is the Luke Skywalker one.
I have the Luke Skywalker, but
this book completely surprised me because it's always nice when you get a book you're not familiar with.
Oh, let me make you big. Hold on.
This is the second print of Punisher 218 with a Bradstreet awesome War Machine armor with the Punisher logo. And I priced it at $200, which was lower than any price I found on eBay. I haven't priced a lot of these books out, but this is Vision 1, the first Viv Vision, the 125 by Ryan Sook.
Yeah, that's the King storyline.
The Tom King.
I thought I had all the variants of this little series. I've never seen this variant.
It's either a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 50. I forget what it was. This book needs no introduction, and it's a very nice.
Yeah, that's the first Domino.
Yep, the first fake Domino.
Yeah.
I'll always take a copy of that. And then I got a couple of early books from some dude named McFarlane.
Yep, the 290, 298, 299.
One of my favorite X-Men storylines ever.
Days of Future Past, Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's a great War Machine cover, Taz. Some more classics. Can't go wrong with.
Yeah. So
Frank Miller
and Frank Miller.
What do they say? This one ties for.
It's now listed. They've changed the label now, and it does say ties for first black suit. Of course, the origin of the black suit is in the Secret Wars. But yeah, they did also just change the label for Gambit, and now the annual says first appearance of Gambit, I think, and then the X-Men book says first full appearance and first cover appearance. So they did just recently change that label too. Such a classic.
Such an iconic cover. Will never complain about getting a copy of that book. And you can't have
buying that I remember buying that at my local bookstore, and
you can't have 298 and 299 with that. And this is really
without 300. Yep.
And here's a little something you should always look for in a 300 right here. This section, I'm sure you're aware of it, Shelby.
Yep.
There's a lot of copies got a very rough cut.
Yep.
So the copies that have a straight, clean cut, are really your copies that are going to get those higher grades.
Well, and you can see the actual indent when you hold it to the raking light that you just had it in. About two or so inches in. Tilt there, you right there. Tilt it back up a little bit. Right, you almost had it. Right there. There's about 2 inches in. You can see a little indent that runs across, and what that is there's an arm that comes down, holds the books, and then does a cut.
Yeah.
And there was something odd with the machine, so you'll almost always see that indent from the arm because it held it too tight, and then it caused a rough cut to come down along the edge. Mr. Buyer, he says he needs one of those.
I've seen copies that it's very jagged on the cut.
Yeah. Oh, it can be pressed out. Oh yeah, I can fix it.
Yeah, you can't if it's a jagged cut, obviously you can't fix that.
Jagged cut you can't, but the indent you can fix.
You can see that's a clean cut. You can see this one's I'd put this one honestly.
Yeah, and I don't know how many there are when they stack and cut. Probably about 25 or 50 issues. The ones near the bottom will be better. The ones at the top, yeah, that's one. Go back to that, Tony. So that is one that I need. That is a midder grade copy.
Yeah, I told you it has a lot of tickets.
So I'm not a buyer on that one, but
right.
Anyway, so Mr. Taz and anybody else watching, anybody else catches this on the ring line, contact Todd through IG.
I'm gonna see if anything else in this box.
Contact Todd through IG. He does sell these. He is an active reseller. So this is not an auction or anything like that on here. This is a talk show. But contact Todd on IG, and he will let you know the prices. I don't think he's looked up the prices yet on those.
No, I literally just got these the other day.
Tony already said buy it now. But yeah, you can just contact Todd real quick over on IG. I'll actually
yeah, guys, I'll do the best I can for any of you. But, just I don't know. I can just pull a hand.
Todd will always be fair.
Oh yeah. This is an awesome cover. I love that J. Scott Campbell Shuri.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then this one is not the highest grade, but kind of cool to get a signature.
Yeah, first Taskmaster.
George Perez.
Oh, and it's signed by George Perez.
Yep. I knew you'd recognize it. I mean, it's not the highest grade copy.
I might be able to clean that up.
It's got
something on the bag. It's something on the bag, I think, Todd.
Yeah, there's like a sticker or gum on the bag. That's weird. Let me get it in a fresh bag.
So really quick, I will.
George Perez penciler.
All right, so this is not Todd. This is
that's not me. That is definitely not me.
That might be Todd in his younger days. That's Southern Comic Geek showing off some stuff there. But yeah, Todd. Probably the easiest way. Let me jump over my messages.
Now, I will tell you, I have quite a few books signed by George because
I,
Wagner.
I do too. George has no shortage of signatures out there. But he is passed on now. But yeah, just hit up Todd over at his IG. So pretty
Well,
easy to find, Gorilla Todd Comics. And yeah, send him a message. And, he loves messages. And yeah, and he will definitely try to make a deal. So, he's got some pictures here. He's hanging out with a bunch of Spider-Man, just like Todd, hanging out with some guys in costumes. Looks like that Spider-Man might be packing a little extra over there in one of those. But
that's hilarious. This was, I think, at Heroes Con early one year. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Probably from. These are some of the slabs that I got in this collection. Learning how to use the cap
all
cut.
signatures too. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, a lot of yellow labels. And some of these are books that were really hot at some point, but it's okay because I just don't have to charge them. I'm not going to charge as much. Yeah, I can give people. Todd loves those.
I do like that Adam Hughes signed one. That's nice.
Yeah. We'll get to the slabs. I still got some cool raw books.
All right, so let me.
Anything from the Byrne Cockrum X-Men.
And that's the one you want. That's the kind of first Wolverine solo story in comics.
It's funny. There's a BBC label in the back.
So it used to be slabbed. Someone
a 9-2. I mean, I haven't even put these in fresh bags and boards. I just got these. Nothing wrong with having some boys when the boys show is starting up again. I think there's a boys like 1 through 5 or something in there. Cool, Invincible. This is I gotta figure out what this is. I think this is just an Ultimate Spider-Man, a version of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, signed by Quesada and Bendis.
That's pretty cool.
It's got a little dimple right here, but that could probably be pressed out because it's just on white. First print Killing Joke. Nothing wrong with that.
Good.
And then we go a little silver. Not the highest grade, but I have a copy of this in my PC. I think I have a 7.5 grade, which is not crazy. What's up, Kenneth Bird? But you can't ever go wrong with some classic Avengers.
Oh.
Even with tape on the spine and all that. Still
I can fix almost anything except for tape.
One of my favorite covers, and a much nicer 58, which is a really cool cover too with all the Avengers. I tend to love group shots like that where they're all coming at the camera. And this is another one. This is a book I love that I have in my PC. Origin of the Black Panther. Like my copy, I think I have a National Diamond Sales or whatever it's called insert.
And that's the one where they, for a short time, did the half mask on
T'Challa.
Yeah.
Got a little Miss Marvel.
Marvel #1, great floating head cover.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. This is one people have been asking for.
I have seen that pop up on the eBays and stuff lately.
Yeah, because the Invincible season just wrapped up. This is cool. I've never had this one before, the Gold Gambit.
Gold Gambit, yeah.
So that's always, just some cool stuff. a little Moon Knight, Stephen Platt Moon Knight with Spidey. That's always a cool issue, and always Moon Knight #1, ASM 431, where Carnage takes over Silver Surfer's body for a minute. 2 copies of Carnage's first appearance, 2 copies of the second, 1 copy of the third. That kind of
it used to be $100 books, man. That thing's now only about $30.
yeah. But you know what? It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's still great books. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not one of those people who are stuck to the this is what it was, so this is what it is.
No, buy.
You know, if the market bears that it's a $30 or $40 or $50 book and it was 102 years ago, so be it. It's $30 or $40 or $50 now, whatever it is.
You know, that's one thing that Todd and I have talked about is that, you know, we price things according to what they are today. You know, we don't, you know, live in the past. I mean, him and I just talked about that last week. I think after the show is the market, I feel like is kind of, I don't think the market is down. Todd and I talked about this.
It's correcting. It's
corrected. It's corrected. And if you look at pre-COVID sales compared to sales right now, they're a little bit higher than pre-COVID. So what I feel like it's correction. Sales shifted up a little bit from pre-COVID, which is I think they needed to. But yeah, so how did you get scammed? A little switcheroony. Yeah, let us know that. Did someone stick in the facsimile on you? On that one, Mr. Taz. But I know that they talk about buying the dip or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just more of a correction, but I know that I didn't jump on the phone. Yeah, the market is corrected. I think so. But I'm having a good time right now picking up books and I've got a little stack to show of what I've gotten this week. Go ahead, Todd.
I got 4 more Raw books, nothing crazy.
Go ahead.
And then let's see some of your stuff. You know, that's always a nice one. That's a reprint, but it's cool.
I've got the original. That's always been one of my favorite covers for some reason.
This one just I've never had it, and honestly, it pops for some reason.
It does. I like the way Venom's face is done with that art and stuff. It's great.
Great. And they didn't give him the sharp teeth. If you can see,
I'm not a sharp teeth Venom guy. I'm not a long, gritty tongue Venom guy either.
I think it really works better. It's more menacing, I think, just having that smile.
Hey, give a shout. You know, like I said, this isn't a sales show, but
we'll talk, Tony.
Set it aside. Set that aside for Tony. Oh, nice Heir to the Empire #1.
Mm-hmm. I think I got another Venom in the box too.
Yeah, Tony said set that Venom aside for him.
Okay, man, I'm not rushing to sell any of these books. I mean, I got an Umbrella Academy set in here, Lock and Key. Nothing is.
And if y'all never read that first season of Umbrella Academy, it's freaking hilarious compared to the TV show, even though the TV show was freaking amazing.
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed it. That's kind of a cool Venom I got in the bunch.
I actually just came across that in my box the other day. I just found that. I'm going to be putting mine up for sale.
Then I got the version of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Spidey getting dunked on.
I had another really cool Venom, like something that you don't see very often, but I might have been wrong.
I am Tony. So I usually wait till the end of the show to talk about it, but I'll show real quick. If y'all want to get anything from me's, I have an active eBay store again. So you can just look up Shelby's Comics on eBay, but it's just ebay.com STR, which stands for store, then Shelby's Comics. I'm dropping books all the time. I do weekly auctions also, so I'm doing independent auction this week. I've got a couple of nice GI Joes newsstand and direct edition. There is a little story behind that one that we might get to, but let me do see all. But here's my auction this week. So a lot of things don't have bids on them yet, and only for 99 cents. So Buddy Mask #1, Virgin, 99 cents, no bids. Lady Death, one bid. Girl Scouts, no bids yet. Good Boy, Ashcan, Bill Sienkiewicz cover, no bids. Grimm Fairy Tales, Wonderland, no bids. That's limited to 250 copies. Lady Death, no bids. Bunny Mask, no bids. That Lady Death Merciless is getting a few bids. Yeah, so a lot of things. First Stephen Platt on Profit. Primordial, no bids. So yeah, number 4 at 50, no bids. So yeah, go check out my eBay. I got a lot of Silver Age, a few Golden Age over in the store, a lot of Fantastic Four, but these great First Spectre, 5th print, Edge of Spider Verse, early Captain Marvel, high grade, a nice Golden Age Atlas book there, a nice Golden Age Jungle book, nice Golden Age science fiction book. I've got a few sets, all new X-Men, Captain America, Marvel Premiere, early Iron Fist, high grade, only $20. So yeah, go check me out. And if you see something you want, I always accept offers, or you can hit me up over on IG and let me know.
I'm just doing a little post on IG for the YouTube show.
Yeah, and I do funny little images for our YouTube show every week.
Yeah, I just did a screenshot of us.
Do that. Yeah, you can hit me up over on IG, Tony. You know where to find me. If you see something you want, you can hit me up. And we can work things out. All right. So I got a few show and tells. Stuff I bought this week. So one of the things that I collect is 1950s promotional comics. And I don't know why someone would want to slab this. Daredevil Davy, Underwater Agent H2O, The Case of the Fluorinated Water. This is put out by the National Dental Association.
Go back to that cover again real quick. That's almost like a throwback to that horror comic. I forget. I don't know the issue.
Yeah, the weird, the way they did the eyes.
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
The one with the girl in the skull. I've seen that on kids' T-shirts at school. I'm like, that's a comic, and they're like, what?
Yeah, this from 52. Yeah, 1952. They did a lot of these promotional comics. Like I said, I don't know why someone would want to slab this, but I think I only paid $20 for it. So I was really happy to pick it up because I'm pretty sure I don't have this promotional book. But like I said, and there's a whole run of them, obviously, of these Daredevil Davies that was done by the American Dental Association. So, yeah, I might have to look those up. I'm going to be a dentist. Davy shows how to brush his teeth. I can't read what that one is. and I can't read what the other one is. But I love collecting promotional books. I've got probably about 2 short boxes of promotional books, and so all right, Miss Taz.
Yeah, the old days, Taz. Yeah, I'm working on a website too. You got a guy. I'm not. I'll keep that to myself.
I've been buying, so I think a lot. I've been talking about. I've been buying more Golden Age this past year. Golden Age is an area that I think some collectors has phased out. So I'll say it like that. So I think you can pick up some real good deals with Golden Age. This is a beautiful Golden Age book. This is True Stories Romance, 1950s, number 2. But I love the photo cover. And this is the way they did it back in the 50s. The guy's probably about 42. She's like 13. That's what
it's twisted. I was going to say they look like brother and sister.
They did that back then too. It's right after the war. Times were tough.
Hey,
but this is probably one of the earliest photo covers I've ever seen.
Things are scarce.
You get a lot of photo covers in the 60s, but I've never seen
what's up, Josie Wells?
Photo covers.
Smell plays a factor as well in taste.
That's true.
Your olfactory system needs to be working.
But yeah, and this is a really nice copy. I love picking up these.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book.
You can see it. You can.
All right, and then here's my 2 big ones. I've been looking for this book.
Let's see it, Shelby. I'm excited.
I've been looking for this book for years. Do you want to see my monster first or my? All right, so here's my monster. I'll show my monster first.
Whatever you want to do. Melvin Monster. I like those. There's another one. What is it? Mr. Who's the Mr. Monster or the Science Monster guy? I have a couple. You know who I mean? Yeah. I have a couple.
Dr. J. I think it's called Dr. J and the Monster, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. This is a book I've just been looking for. I really love it. I love Dale and Gold Key. There's 2 versions. There's the 12-cent, 15-cent version. I don't think there's any difference really in price. Of course, the 12 cents, the earlier one. But I've been looking for this book for years. And decent grade at a good price. And this popped up finally in 9.2, so it's a really great grade. I think I only paid $100 for it. So that was a super great deal for me. I'm just super happy to finally get this book. I just love the bat. I love the
everything is cool about the logo, the Dell logo, the artwork. What's he eating a train? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, that so clearly looks like it's in the vein of like the Addams Family and the Munsters and that whole like, what is that book? Is that from the 60s, right?
65.
Yeah, mid 60s. That whole like monsters and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that kind of stuff too. That's why the other book, the books I was telling you about, appealed to me. I just saw them at they just randomly came upon them.
Yeah. So John Stanley cover and art. Just really great. So happy to finally pick this up. And then a book I was not expecting. Like after I posted and told Todd about what I was planning. Well, we were talking about what we was going to do this week. I was not planning on getting this book. This book I have been looking for since 1992.
Wow, that's when I graduated high school.
I passed up a copy of this in 1992, over $20. I've hated myself ever since. I've tried to find a copy. This book has gone up in price. I finally got one. The guy had, I think, 500, 520 or something like that on it. He sold it to me for $350. and I'm very happy to get this. I
Oh,
finally
very
got
cool.
Space Ghost #1.
That's beautiful.
It's not a 9.0. It's got some ticks and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a super
Those are so tough to find in super high grade because
so hard to find.
the kids read them. They love those books. They read them.
it.
They were their
Yeah.
cartoon characters. They, you know, they played. They role played those characters. They.
Yeah.
It's like war. It's like the army war books and the horror books from the 70s are so tough to find in high grade.
Yeah. But it's a super clean copy. You know, I can do some more cleaning on it, give it a good press. You know, send it in, and it's probably about a $600-700 book. But I've been looking for this. I passed up a Dale file copy in 1992.
Ooh.
The guy had 120 on it. I wanted to pay 100. It was at least a, you know, if you were grading back then, you know, a 9.0, 9.2. I've hated myself ever since. But yeah, I'm just so happy to finally get this book. This book has just been the bane of my existence for 30 something years. And to finally get one and own one and at a great price and a grade that I can live with, I'm just super happy.
I mean, the book presents beautifully.
It's amazing. It's really open.
Colors are vivid.
Yeah, overall, it's really clean book.
The colors are vivid and bright. I feel I'm getting goosebumps from the electronic force of Space Ghost Ray.
I love that. Fist pack with electronic force, incredible speed, the unique gift of invisibility, protector of the universe.
Not just the planet, the universe.
The universe. You
all
know,
that is, all that will be.
Stuff. It's everything about it is just amazing, and yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy to finally get this book. The guy got it to me within a couple of days. So I just got this in today to show tonight. So just really happy. Oh, and that is it. That is what I picked up this week. So
nice. You want to see some slabs?
Show some slabs, and then I'll yeah, go ahead. I'll make you big, and I'm grab some from the other room real quick.
We'll start off gently.
Oh, nice.
New Mutants 87 and the 9.6. You know, I don't know.
That's the grade you want.
Okay. Always a nice book. This is a cool book. I don't know if I think this might get under people's radars.
It's been under the radar for a long time. First appearance of I think it's our first appearance.
It's the first Greer Grant.
Okay. But it's only like a 4 or 5 issue series.
Yeah, it's the first Greer Grant who's called the Cat and later becomes Tigra.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was glad to see that in the collection.
I love it. What was the grade on that again?
8.5.
Okay. One of my favorites. One of my favorite covers.
Signed by Tom King and Jock. Double signed Detective 880. Let's see. This is Thanos 13, first Cosmic Ghost Rider, and a 9.6 signed by Donny Cates. Here's a nice Betty and Veronica #1, signed by Adam Hughes. This is Ultimate Fallout 4 and a 9.6, signed by Bendis, Mark Bagley, and Clayton Crane. Miles Morales' first appearance. I'll just go in the order I get them in. Whatever. I'm not. This is a beautiful book. Secret Wars 8 and a 9.6, signed by Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck, John Beatty, with remarks from Zek and Beatty. And a
Now, I
newsstand.
know you sold the triple sign one before. With those remarks, what would you think that is? Like a $500 book?
Probably a little more than that.
I was thinking more around $6. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I got to do some research, but
if I remember right, you sold the triple sign for right around $200 to $300, if I remembered right.
But was that the Heroes Con one you're thinking of?
It was the facsimile. It was the facsimile. Is
I
that
think
the real one?
You were thinking of this one.
Yeah.
I had a couple of these triple sign.
Yes, you had those. Yes.
This one's about a $300 or $400 book, something like that.
Yeah. I was thinking about $250, $300. Yeah.
But this is, I mean, where'd it go? This is a real Secret Wars 8.
Yeah, real Secret Wars 8 with the remarks. I was thinking at least double the price, about $600.
Yeah, it might even be close to a G. I don't know. I got to look it up. I got to do my homework and my research. I wouldn't give out any hard prices. And this is another book that at one point was bazonkers, but has gone way down, but it's still a really cool book. You know, the Venom 3 third print.
Yeah. Who's that signed by? Stegman?
Donnie Cates.
That's
signed by Donnie Cates.
That's $25 book. Tony said he's interested at Secret Wars. He wants the Tony price.
And we got a nice. We'll talk, Tony.
Josie said, "I'll do 400 right now. Don't do any research."
I got to do the research. I can't.
Now, this is the one that I commented on. I love the remark. This is a. Which printing is this? Third?
First print.
Oh, is the first print? No, the first print has a different color, doesn't it? Look over on the top right or right underneath the title.
Yeah, it just says Edge of Spider-Verse Marvel Comics 11/14. First appearance of new Spider-Woman Gwen Stacy.
Maybe it is first print. Maybe
the barcode is 211. See the barcode?
Maybe the blue is the first print. All right.
So that's a Jason Latour signature and sketch. He's the writer. We'll out of focus.
There you go.
Here we go.
That's
What's up, Eddie? My good friend Eddie, the comic guy. Here's a cool one.
Yeah, that's the one I commented on. I've got that book, but hey, to get it in 9.8 with the
Adam Hughes signature.
Signature. I mean, come on, dude. What do I love about that?
That's the way to have that book.
My copy is not a 9.8. That book is one of those. During that time, they did that weird paper when they folded it over. It always got that white crease along the spine.
You almost have to press them before you grade them.
It's hard to press those books because that white that shows up on the spine. Nice. Who's that signed by? Okay, Campbell.
Nice Campbell signature in gold.
She needs to sign it right across her crotch.
I don't want them marring up and then the aforementioned Gambit first cover. Yeah, it says first full appearance of Gambit Mystique appearance. Signed by Chris Claremont.
Yeah, they've now added to that, and they say now first cover appearance. Who's that signed by?
Claremont.
Claremont, okay.
I feel like we're kind of dropping down in quality, but still cool books.
Okay.
First
Yeah,
punch line.
first punch line.
We go quick now. First Robin King. This one's signed by Tony Daniel. I mean, this is I remember when this book came out. 9.2 is whatever, but it's a cool book. I see one every once in a while. One issue off. One issue off. Come on.
Wow.
9.8 with the Casada signature.
Now that's not the facsimile. That's the first appearance.
Yeah, first appearance of Tatiana, X23 appearance. It's not, if only it was number 3.
Oh, that's
like the second X23. It's not the first X23. The first appearance has her coming out of the shadows, kind of on the cover.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Again, nothing crazy. Signed by Mark Brooks. This next one's kind of cool. It's more of a modern book. This one's signed by Adi Granov.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Here's another cool one. I don't know if this is a ratio or whatever, but it's a Joe Quesada cover.
Ooh.
Little pink Q on it.
Did that guy buy them offline, or did he go to these cons? And
I think he put some work in and got and collected these. Oh, this is the other Venom I was thinking of. Yeah, this is a cool one. I'm gonna take this one out of the bag.
Captain Beardo.
9.8, signed by Joe Quesada.
I've never met the guy, of course, but I really do like his artwork. I think he did a lot to help Marvel, in the early 2000s when he took over all the Marvel books. I've heard some, I don't want to say negative things about him, but, I don't think he's the most liked, but
I met him a couple times. He was pleasant. I'm Jimmy Palmiotti a lot more often.
Tony's a big Venom fan. So, Tony's a big Venom fan. So, to probably give him some first dibs. That's one of my favorite covers. I love it.
Again, signed by Quesada. It's really, a lot of yellow labels here.
So that is something that we didn't talk about in terms of news, because you know what? I just don't care. CGC is now doing verifications for signatures. They just dropped their new label for that. You can now submit things for signature verification. They bought that company that does signature verifications. It costs $25, and there's a black stripe at the top of the yellow label. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't really give a shit.
First Immortal Hulk. Again, another book that is probably
cool. Now, who signed that?
That's Mark Brooks.
Okay.
He did this cover. And then this is another book that at one point was really, really popular.
Yeah, first Immortal Hulk.
But it's still a cool book. It's not as expensive as what it was. But it's still plenty cool. This is kind of a cool one. This one's signed by Rick Leonardi. And this is the Toy Biz. This came with the Spider-Man 2099 action figure. And it's listed as the second print. That's quite a signature for Rick Leonardi. I don't know if I would recognize that if I didn't already know. 2 more Venom books in this bunch. I got, if you ever felt the need for a little tongue, we got the Secret Tongue variant.
Oh, that's cool.
This one's signed by Ryan Stegman, right on the eye.
Like I said, Tony's a big Venom fan, so you better give him some first dibs on some of that stuff.
Well, Tony and I we'll always talk. I always take care of my Tony. And then this is pretty cool. This is a Venom 3 double signed by Stegman and Cates.
Yeah. Eddie said, that ASL means a lot to me. I worked at the World Trade Center. Gotta have to pick that one up.
We might be able to work something out, Eddie. We can figure something out.
Again, y'all hit up Gorilla Todd over on the IGs.
The tongue one was a secret cover, Tony. It was limited compared to the regular cover.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that tongue one either. The one with the kind of half looking face and the tongue. Yeah.
I have another box of slabs that came in this collection. Not as,
I don't know. I think they're kind of still working on that Venom Spider-Man movie. That was kind of the plan. Like Tom Holland's next movie would not be Marvel, right? Because he's completed that contract they had between Sony and Marvel for him to be in 3 movies. So I'm not positive if Sony is moving ahead with their own version. I don't know. I think anything. I don't know. I've just never been happy. I didn't like either of the Venom movies. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, that was old talk. Captain Beardo, where that was their next thing was the Spidey Venom.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of covers, Tony.
So many.
Couple more slabs to show. You know what's funny? There's a book he must have been specking on this book hard because there's 2 more 9/8s, both signed by Mark Brooks.
That had a lot of heat for a while because the series was so good. That Immortal Hulk series was so good. I agree with you. I hated it. I don't like either of the movies. They made Venom into like this stupid, this constant banner back and forth. I mean, it's just terrible. I just did not like it. I love that cover. I love the pink.
Dave Johnson.
Silk one. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's. I think
nice, man. You're gonna have some nice stuff to set up at shows with and put on the wall. Beautiful collection, man. Beautiful collection. I'm glad to see you got it.
And I really honestly this person and I we talked for a long time. I really tried to be really fair, and he understood it takes time to sell and it costs money to set up at shows and all this.
But we now have this show that's obviously gaining popularity because we've got a lot of new people in here tonight. I think we'll be reaching some great audiences. They'll be reaching out to you. I love it. I'd love to get Devil Dinosaur, Machine Man. I'd love to get those in a high grade slab. Those were my jam back in the day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love those Kirby books. Machine Man, Devil Dinosaur, when he came back to Marvel. They were great books to me. I loved them. Four books that I just collected back in that early 80s time period: Godzilla, Shogun Warriors, Machine Man, Devil Dinosaur. I love those.
This one's cool. Steve McNiven's signature.
Oh, nice signature.
Kind of an iconic shot from the movie.
It is. That's the classic. Yeah, that they almost reproduce that exactly right in the movie. Great signature.
It's nice they give it that nice white area to
Eddie said he hit you up on the IGs.
Sounds good, Eddie. Sounds real good. Okay. And then we got a little Vision signed by Tom King. First Vision.
Yeah, I met Tom King. His signature is not great.
It's a couple squiggles.
It's a squiggles.
I mean, and again, this is another book that I don't think it has the heat that it once had. And this is a second printing. But it's still cool.
Yeah. I wish I had sold mine when the heat was on.
So I think there's a 9.6 in there too.
Next, Madam Web.
I don't even think Madam Web was in the Madam Web movie.
I want to see that movie. It surely can't be as bad. I mean, it's got 3 hot girls in it. So, I mean. So you can either see what I've been working on in terms of the comic press this week, or you can hear about my argument. Now, we're not going to hear about the argument I had with a customer.
I picked this one up too. This one was in the collection. That's always cool. I got this other stack of books I just got.
Oh my God.
I took it on trade. It's not as exciting. Oh, I got this. This is an awesome book, but it needs a press. It's got some wavy stuff going on, but I got a guy here who can press it. First Black Mask.
All right.
And then this other stuff is nothing great. It's just, what is it? I think this is it's like a bunch of Moon Knights, this type of stuff.
Yeah, that's not the series you want. You want that first one. Terminators are cool.
Terminators and that one. And then I think there's a Peacemaker set in here. Nothing crazy, but one of my buddies brought him in and was like, "Would you give me some trade credit?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I give him more than I should, but that's it. That's what I do.
Forge. And
hey, guy, take care, Eddie.
All right, Eddie. All right. So this week, I'm not going to get into. I think I'm going to do another video drop about this argument I had with a customer on direct versus newsstands. But let me say this, and I feel like I've been saying this for years. I know I've been saying this for years. Y'all fucking stop with the damn. This is a newsstand copy. Cut that shit out, dude. People are screwing you. People are screwing you. Okay? Let me say that. People are screwing you whenever they try to pump a book up for more money because it's a newsstand copy. Cut that shit out. I might drop a whole video over that. But anyway, here's what I've been working on this week. I showed some of these books a show or so ago. Picked up this Teen Titans Silver Age collection. Here's the work that I did on the Teen Titans #1. So this book's got a lot of condition issues. You can see a lot. There's a couple of stains on it and stuff too. But I now do comic book conservation. So this book, once I pressed it, look at that.
Yeah, it looks nice and flat.
Once I cleaned and pressed it, I mean, because this thing was rough. There is a few staining issues. You can see there's a couple of stains at the top. But
The book's just been loved.
Huh?
The book's been loved.
Yeah, there's a stain on the back that I couldn't remove. But, you know, I pressed it. It's got a tear at the bottom. But one of the things that really held this back was there were some, I know you can't see it because I conserved it, but there's a rip right here. So, and we'll see if you can see it. See if I can get a light here. Hold on.
Damn, CLG, what is up, man?
Hey, buddy.
I've been here and there, CLG. I've been doing shows, cons, got a little operation set up here in Vegas.
Here, I'm gonna try and do it like this.
But Shelby coerced me to come back on the YouTube.
Yeah, I forced you.
Yeah, you didn't force me. You just asked.
Okay, so you can see my conservation that I did right here. You can barely see it, but I did a tear seal.
That's cool. That's cool that you do that, Shelby.
Yeah, I did a tear seal fix. So this rip came all the way down to here. So the big rip, but I used Japanese Tenjujo paper with methyl cellulose. You can see the rip right there, but it's a tear seal, and yeah. So you completely fixed the book and stuff. I also did a reinforcement on this tear, but yeah.
It ultimately keeps the tear from getting worse, is what I would.
You keep it from getting worse. There's a tear over on this side too. So you can see the tear seal that I did there. But this is not restored, right? That's the point, is if you send this in to CGC, and again, you can see that nice flat gloss that I brought back to the book. I buffed it, gave it some real good gloss. I mean, it's still a VG copy. I mean, it's got issues with the spine and stuff. But if you send this in to CGC, you will not get a restored grade. You'll get a blue label conserved grade. You know, because it is considered professional restoration. But yeah, and the point is that it's nice and fresh and clean. I mean, it's nice and supple now. So from 1966, you got just a really great clean copy that will last now another 100 years because of that.
The miracles of modern chemistry.
Exactly.
You know, and just to circle back to what you were saying, and I'm not trying to get you excited or nothing, but ultimately, what I think you're referring to with the whole newsstand direct edition is people who want to take advantage of any reason they think they can to sell a book.
I'll quickly tell you the story. So
you know, no, and let me just make my point. I just think I agree with you, because the point is there are times, as you know and I know, when yes, the newsstand is the one that actually is the more common one, and there are times when the direct market one is the more rare copy. But you really have to understand What's up, Wolf Blitz? You got to understand the chronology of the direct market and the history of the direct market
That's right.
compared to the the existence of the newsstand market, and you have to understand all that. If it's just, oh, this is a newsstand, it's got to, like if I go like this and it's a newsstand, does this book I don't think is, it's a 60-cent cover. This is a 60-cent cover. What if 10? I don't feel like that's a 60-cent cover. Why am I tripping?
Yeah, that was pre direct. But you're right. Someone would show that book and say this is a newsstand copy.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, what year is this? Let me pop this book open, and just for,
You're right. It throws me off 60 cents.
this is 78.
78. So that's pre newsstand. Yeah, just like I thought. Yeah.
It's, you're not, I don't even know if does this even exist in a direct market, edition. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Right? Doesn't.
No.
So it's like,
but 60 cents does seem high. Make sure that's not a Canadian variant or something.
I know. I have another copy.
High for 1978.
It does, and I have another one that's, what is my other one on the wall? That's 60 cents too. Huh. Homework.
Oh, it's a thicker issue. That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
I think
it's like a double size. So instead of 30,
yeah. So the way this came up, anyway, let me show this real quick. So this is my other project. So this book is completely taken apart. Here's my work board that I'm using. So this is that first Brave and Bold that they're actually called the Teen Titans in. Mm-hmm. So you can see there was a lot of rip in that cover along the spine. This doesn't have the final press, so it's still wavy and everything. But this did an acid bath, and you can see it's nice and supple and stuff now. But this has a complete spine seal repair. You can kind of see it just a little bit, but where you could not even pick up this book before because the spine tears were so bad. Look at it now, right? I mean, I can throw it around, play with it, all that. This is from, early 60s. The first graph.
I mean, that's great that you can take books and you can do a little conservation.
Yeah.
Which probably takes hours and hours and hours and concentration.
Yeah, the centerfold had a complete staple pull, so I was able to reinforce that. And this will be a book now. Like I said, the book is completely taken apart, but this is a book now that you can hold, you can read, you can flip through. It's not falling apart in your hands. There's a bad spine roll, and so. Yeah, it's really great. And it's not a huge amount of money or anything, but it's something that now can last another 50 years instead of being on its last leg, so to speak, right? And that's the point, because we love comics and stuff like that. Okay. Oh, here's this super quick story. I'm just gonna
give us the Cliff Notes.
I'll give you the Cliff Notes. Over on my store, I have these two books. G.I. Joe #1, 1982, a newsstand and a direct edition. I put rare on the direct edition because this is 1982. Both these books are about the same grade, probably a 9.6. They are super clean, super beautiful copies. They are both around a 9.6. Of course, you can see I've got way more watchers on the newsstand, nothing on the direct. Now, if we are to look at Go Collect and actually helped with this article a little bit with Doug, is in 1982, 80% of the books were newsstands, 20% were directs. Okay? So that would make the direct book more rare.
I mean,
20% less. I mean, only 20% roughly was, overall. No, this is overall. That was distributed, right? We're talking about distribution numbers, not this specific book, but distribution numbers. 80% of all the books that were distributed were newsstands, 20% were directs around 1982. That would make this book the more rare. If you were to do an eBay search, I found tons of newsstands. I only found, including my own copy, 4 copies of this in direct. And so the person wanted to kind of argue with me a little bit, saying that I was wrong, that there was really more direct issues out there. I'm not wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. And the only question that I would pose.
Yes. Here's your question.
I think you know where I'm going.
Yes.
Is granted, yes. So you're saying there's about an 8-to-2 ratio. Of those 8, I think it might be difficult to find newsstand copies in those high in the 9.6 to the 9.8.
Not when you think about there's 80% more printed. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but how many of those were on racks, got bent, got handled, got bought and read, and because they weren't sold to collectors, they were sold to whoever was buying them on the spinner rack.
Yeah. So okay, let me answer that question.
And that's not really, we can't really get a solid answer.
Well, okay, so Go Collect claims that they have this stat down here, survival percentage. So if you look at 1982, they say that of the direct, 30% survived and 70% of the newsstands survived. So that would still mean that book is more rare in terms of survivability between newsstand and direct.
No, I'm okay, thanks. Okay.
Todd's taking a phone call.
Sorry, it's my aunt.
So here's this stat. You were talking about survivability. Here's this stat. In 1982, they say around 30% of direct survived compared to 70% of newsstands survived. So it still puts it into that rare category to me. Now, if you look at prices, this is where people are lying to you, guys. So now if we were looking at prices, here is the newsstand on the right, here is the direct on the left. If we look at the newsstand, if we look at the newsstand, you see stupid numbers here because people push that newsstands are somehow more rare. But if you actually look at the numbers, around that 9.0 to 9.4 range, you are seeing over a double in the price. So I think a few people are catching on. Few people don't fall for it. Someone obviously did fall for it. They bought I think this was a 9.9 copy. Someone paid $800 for. Well, this is raw, so it was a high grade copy. Someone was really stupid for that. But the point is that is not rare. When you get into the 90s and things like that, those numbers shift dramatically. When you get into 1990, it shifts. About 1985, it is about 50-50. Let me show you one more piece of evidence. Great resource book. This book is out of date in terms of prices or anything, but this shows distribute. Damn it, Jack! This shows distribution numbers.
Hey, Jack.
So I looked up GI Joe in this book. Oh, they do not show distribution numbers for GI Joe until. Now, let me say this. They do say this. Number one sold really well. They weren't sure of the sales. Number two is a low distribution issue. Number two should really be worth a lot more than what it is. They do not
remember when I was a kid.
Yes, I do too.
It was an expensive issue.
It was an expensive issue.
I paid $7.50 for my G.I. Joe number 2 in 1983.
I know. Yeah. Yes. And people have forgotten about that, I think. They do not show distribution numbers until issue 7. This is for newsstand. Newsstand distribution for issue 7 of G.I. Joe was around 157,000 books. Okay, not bad. Compared to today, not bad. Let's jump ahead to issue 35, which is 1985, which is where supposedly overall the distribution of direct to newsstands was 50-50. May 1985, G.I. Joe number 35, the newsstand distribution has now jumped up from 157,000 to 290,000. But direct sales, and the only direct seller back then was Capital City. They only sold 18,000 copies. That is 7%. That is 93% less of newsstand to direct. That is not 50-50 in 1985.
I thought it was
overall, right? Because these are numbers that are overall. But for G.I. Joe number 35, nearly 300,000 was sold on newsstands. Only 18,000 was sold on the direct market.
It's not hard for me to believe that because G.I. Joe was also a book that every 10, 11, 12-year-old boy was probably reading back then. And they were buying it at the 7-Elevens and the candy stores and the newsstands. It was, that was from a bygone era almost.
It was.
And
you're right. I shopped at the 7-Eleven. I shopped at the Stop and Go. Right? That's where I got my books. I didn't have no freaking comic shop in my
I got it. G.I. Joe is what really got me started collecting comic books. And I bought my G.I. Joe. My first issue was G.I. Joe 29. And I bought that from a booth at a flea market. Not really knowing the whole, I was 8 years old. I saw a G.I. Joe commercial. I wanted a G.I. Joe comic. I had the toys. Yeah. I bought the issue whatever issue he had on his, the new issue. Then I think it was that weekend my dad took us out to a movie or something, and we stopped in a candy store, and I'm looking at the spinner rack, and I see, lo and behold, G.I. Joe 28. Because the spinner racks were a little bit behind what was in the direct market, the comic stores.
Yeah. And
And
Marvel did. It does have this note around the mid 80s, because of the popularity of the animated show, Marvel did spend $3 million in comic in doing ads during the animated series for the comic books.
mm-hmm.
Right? So they were pushing these. So you're right. So
Well, no, I mean it and the comic literally functioned as a monthly toy catalog. Because they were that's why you were getting new characters in almost every other issue because it served as that. You know, and not to mention it was entertaining stories for 8, 9, 10, 11 year olds. And you know, I saw that issue 28 and it clicked in my head. It was like, wait a second. And I was totally driven by just the love of the stories. And I was like,
yeah,
28 more stories I can read and collect. So the next time I went back to that flea market, I'm like, do you have a GI Joe #1? And he's like, I do, but he's like, it's got this water. He's got this water stain on it, so it's only $4. It would have been like, I think he said it would have been like 8 or 10 or something. I was like, I don't care. I just want to read it. I'll take it. Okay, and then my friend's mom told me, she's like, you know, there's a comic store that's opening up right on the avenue. I'm like, no, where? What? When? She's like, well, I'll get you the phone number. I drove past it. So she gave me the phone number, and my little 8-year-old self calls the guy. And I'm like, do you have a G.I. Joe #2? No nonsense, no fooling around, just all business. 8 years old. Do you have a G.I. Joe #2? And he's like, I do, yes. I have all the books. I'm just not open yet. I'm like, can I come get it? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of expensive though. I'm like, how much? And he's like, $7.50. And I'm like, no problem. I'll be there tomorrow. Now, I was 8. I didn't have $7.50. I started going through every couch cushion, every old purse, or anywhere I could think there might be some change. And I literally kept collecting change that night until I had $7.50 in a Ziploc bag. And I remember I got to the store. My mom took me to the store. And she's like, you have $7.50. And I pull out this giant bag of change. And the guy kind of like rolled his eyes a little bit because, you know, who really wants $7.50 in change? But you can't say no to a kid, you know. And my mom's like, put your change away. I'll pay for it. And she bought me that G.I. Joe #2, which I still have to this day. So,
yeah. So Captain Beardo, issue 1 and issue 2 were both printed on special paper with the cover stock being a little thicker. If I remember right, I've not seen a #2 in forever, to be honest with you. I'm not sure about
I think
big
I have a
book.
#2.
What you mean big book? If you mean size or thicker, but I think they also did a second printing. That was the first. They didn't do a second printing of #1, but I think they did a second printing of #2.
Well, they did the reprint as Tales of G.I.
Now they
Joe.
do the tails. Then they also did GI Joe magazine, which was larger size reprints. But I was thinking those were Europe.
Yeah, you're thinking of
UK.
European missions or Action Force.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because they couldn't say yes. So maybe in the US. So you may be thinking about the GI Joe magazine, which was also reprints in a larger size. So anyway, my point is oh, Miss Big Book, yes. Yeah, I think so. And I haven't looked at those prices. I've been meaning to go back and look now that I was reminded that GI Joe was a lower print run. #2 was a lower print run. But you know, my point is then am I wrong? And I don't think so. I think that I am right on with my pricing that G.I. Joe Direct is a more rare copy. And, you know, with this being a 9.6 grade, you know, that I'm in line. Now, would I take a little bit off? Sure, I would. But um, if you were to look at the just the straight numbers of overall distribution, this has only 15%. This has 15. This is 15% of what was actually distributed to.
I don't think you're
But
wrong.
if you were to look at number 35 as an example, there could be as much as 93% less direct issues than newsstands. So
I hear what you're saying, but then there's also knowing the market.
people have
Yeah.
jumped onto this hype of this is a newsstand. This is a newsstand. Know y'all's homework. I mean,
And you know what's even worse than that? Back in the day, and I think you know this too, nobody wanted the barcodes. Nobody wanted the direct markets.
no, I was just talking to a guy.
Everybody thought that they were. Everybody considered those worthless compared to
worthless. Yeah, because it had the ugly barcodes on.
I can have a cool Spidey head.
Hmm?
I can have a cool Spidey head on my comic, and
yeah. Even if you look at Spawn 1, like the cover is slightly different from the newsstand and the direct looks better. I was not opposed to the first G.I. Joe movie with was it Channing Tatum in it? That was not a bad movie. G.I. Joe 2 sucked. But the first one with Channing Tatum was not a bad movie.
You're not wrong, Captain Beardo. A lot of it is just it's marketing on a certain level. I mean, there's some legitimacy to the statistical data of which is more rare in a given year. But at the end of the day, yeah, it is. It's just marketing. I mean, because it comes down to what do you prefer?
Right. And let me say this too, like this whole thing of newsstands were treated rougher, so thus there's less survivable issues. That was something that was brought up by Chuck Wozniak, Chuck Ronkowski, whatever his fucking name is, at Mile High Comics. And he said it at a con or something like that, and it got blown up out of proportion. If that was the case, why then, again, we'll look at, and you have examples at your store too, I know, Todd. Why then do I have a Fantastic Four 95 from 1970 in high grade? This is probably a 9.0.
You know what it is? You know what it is, Shelby?
Fantastic Four 77 from 68 in high grade. This again about a 9.0 copy. Okay. A 1967 number 65 high grade copy. A 1977 high grade copy. 1974 high grade copy.
It's not to say that none exist, and it's not to say the thing of it is, dude, I think a lot of it is this too. We make a general statement. Okay. And my experience is that I would look at books on spinner racks and newsstands, and generally they were in rough condition.
They were in rough shape. You flip through them, you grab them,
you bent them to go through them.
I mean
that's
agree with you, man.
But does that mean every single newsstand copy was? No, it doesn't. Right. Because look at like the Mile High 2 collection. That is a heck of a lot of newsstand comics that were never certain.
Defect is from right here. You see this deep crease?
Yeah.
That is from it being on a newsstand. The wire went halfway up the book. People grabbed them, Jack. Thank you. People grabbed them and pulled them down to see what books were behind it. Right? And that's why you have that deep ass crease right there. That is a wire crease from it being on a newsstand and people grabbing them and flipping them through.
No, and the thing is, we've talked about the Mile High 2 collection. That's tens of thousands of uncirculated newsstand books. So, that at what point is your data just either anecdotal and not valid for the
Right.
entire sample, or
Right. And that's why I go to this fucking huge ass book
but even still,
that has real distribution data.
at the end of the day, any given
Oh,
comic book,
this thing's
it's
fucking
only
heavy.
worth what somebody's willing to pay you for it.
And that's true.
It's basically, I got a lot of ink and paper. I can put any price on it I want. It doesn't mean anything until somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I want that book," and they're either willing to pay the price I have on it, or they say, "Hey, what can you do for what's your best, or what can you do?" And generally, my response is, "Well, if you buy one book, it's stickers. The sticker is pretty much the sticker, unless I'm having a sale. Like right now, I'm doing 25% off my back issues. I ran that sale for Free Comic Book Day, and the signs are still up. So if somebody comes in this weekend, I'll still honor it."
So
But
anyway, I mean, it wasn't a conversation. I mean, like I said, it was just something that came up this week with the customer on eBay wanting to question and one tell me that I'm wrong. He did, yeah, and I don't like being told that I'm wrong.
man,
I'll write a fucking dissertation to prove how right I am.
you're hilarious. You're hilarious. Yeah, it was the same, Tony. Those of us that have collected for that, since at least the '80s, if not earlier, we have the same memories. That was pretty much, I think, the universal truth of it.
Oh, yeah, we're about to call it an evening. We've been on this for. I thought we were only talking.
No
for
problem,
an
Mr.
hour.
Todd. It's great to see you in the
Hour
chat.
and 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're just chit chatting. I'm on the West Coast, so and you're in Texas, so you're like an hour. What are you, an hour later than me?
Yeah, it's like 10 till 10 here.
So whatever you want to wrap up, man. We've gone.
Oh, look! I'm so excited.
Oh my God, is this what we've devolved into?
It is after almost 2 hours. That's what happens.
Well, I'm going to show more comics. I can't take this. After
we're gonna call it evening.
Shelby after dark.
Need to get some tape. Anyway, hey, thank you all. We've had a great show. I think this is one of our best shows. Todd had a lot of great books. Of course, reach out to Todd over.
Yeah, take a look at the rewind if you missed any of the books, and if you're interested, hit me up. And if you need anything, I got tons and tons and tons.
Yeah, be sure and check out Gorilla Todd over on his IGs. Hit him up, send him some messages. If you have a want list, anything else, just send it to him. He'll definitely try to fill that void for you. I did share screen, but I think I've shown it plenty of times here.
Yeah.
Of course, you can find me over on the eBays. This is where I drop books almost every day. I don't have. I stay low. I stay low because I'll say this. Hey, thank you all. Thank you all. I know that I'm blessed. Todd knows that he's blessed. That we're not making a living, but we turn over some books. We're able to get some things. We be the middleman, whatever you want to call it. And I stay so blessed with the sales that I do every week. I drop new books almost every day on the site. I got this great banner. Check out the new inventory.
Very cool.
But I do weekly auctions. Like I said, we're doing a great independent auction this week on the site. A lot of stuff still 99 cents. So jump in there, get some great deals. Next week, I think I might do an old Spider-Man auction. I'm not sure. I've gotten a stack of books kind of put together that I'm planning on the auctions. All my auctions start on Sundays at 7 p.m. and run to the next Sunday at 7 p.m. on eBay. So, yeah. Anyway, always has fun. Thank you, Captain Beardo. We're glad you like it. Just remember, Shelby negativity is positivity, and lets you know your audience and whose attention you're grabbing. Good work. Thank you, Mr. Taz. And then, of course, Captain Beardo, nice rack. Todd's got the banging racks over there, man. Him and his Home Depot shelving is freaking awesome.
Yeah. I do it. I did it. I took the,
That's amazing. I love it. He took these closet racks, which are super cheap. Duct tape them together, and yeah.
No, I use zip ties.
I know you use zip ties.
This book made me cry. This Ewok book. It's so
Look at that Ewoks. Oh,
yeah, we got some old stuff. New stuff behind me. Basically comics everywhere.
Sometimes Todd and I hang out afterwards. I pull out my want list. I get him to search through the store. Like I said, we try to do this more of a talk show, but if you ever want to hang around after the show, I'll drop you a link. You can talk to Todd and work out a deal or something when we're not on the air. I'm fully open to that.
I know you'll appreciate Shelby.
Oh,
and really a real. I mean, there's a couple of ticks, but it's a nice copy. First solo Supergirl story.
Is it the first one? That's the first one? Oh, yeah. Oh, you might need to put that aside for me.
I mean, it's got a little 5/6 written on there, but a really nice copy.
I'll buy it. All right. Tony and Y, great to see you too, my friend.
Always good to see everybody. Taz, Tony, Beardo. We got Eddie the comic guy hanging out for a minute. We got Guy. Wolf Blitz, CLG.
CLG popped in. Guy Forge popped in. We even had Southern Comic Geek pop in.
Yep.
You already said Eddie.
Reader was here early on.
First one in. Josie Wells. Yeah, so we had a Kenneth Beard popped in. So, yeah, just like the good old days, man. Just like the good old days. All right, but with that, I'm saying good night, and we will catch you next Thursday. If you got any topics you want to talk about, just let us know. But otherwise, we're just going to hang out and let you know what's been happening in our lives and what's going on in the comic scene. So with that, peace, love, and comics. Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.